Hey everybody, it's good to be back. I made a video, I think it was somewhere around the 12th of June, and I said I was going to make another video that night, and I was unable to. So not only was my schedule too busy, but also from the suggestion of a friend and a close brother of mine, um, he made a good point. Get your content on a site that you can share the link to and then just start a channel with all the content. So I've switched from just doing Facebook posts and Instagram posts to where I'm going to be making content that I'll share a link to, and it'll all be on YouTube. And then I'll have each session numbered, and hopefully I'll figure that out over time. But anyway, back to the topic on hand. I was talking to you about the importance of the lens that you choose to view the world through, because it's also the same lens that you choose you've chosen to view yourself through. Here's the other thoughts on the lens topic. So I have some notes over here just to keep me on track. Lenses do something very critical for us. If you're trying to investigate something, a lens has the capability to, or see something, a lens has the capability to bring that topic or that thing you're investigating into focus, or it can make it cloudy and unclear. That's why it's so important, the lens that we choose to view our reality and our lives through, because certain types of chosen lenses can really muddy the water and they can blur things in your life. Or you have the option to choose what I would call the lens of taking your power back. That's really what this whole lens topic is about. It's about learning how to take your power back, which is a major, major issue. At least, it's an issue that I've dealt with in my life, and I know it's an issue that so many different people on multiple different levels deal with. So I want to help people take their power back, and only by sharing my experience. So if you're viewing, like I did for so many years, the world through a lens that I have no accountability in, and I have no role in, and I'll define this better in a second, the world becomes a really disturbing, hurtful place, because everything's just happening to you, and you're stressed, you're depressed, you're angry. Guys, you're angry. I've been angry. I deal with anger. In these videos, I want to make it very clear. I'm not going to shy away from talking about hard topics. We are so beyond the point in humanity in 2019 where we have to shy away from any types of topics. I'm going to talk about past traumas, bad decisions, corrupt mindsets, toxic lifestyles. I'm not afraid to talk about them. We shouldn't be afraid to talk about these things. It's old news. There's been a lot of things that we've all been through. Let's talk about it. When you have the world view or the lens in your life that everything's just happening to you, you play no role. You're this victim in this weird game, this weird unraveling reality that you have no participatory role in. That's one lens. And I can tell you that when you live with that kind of lens, it brings depression, it brings anger, it brings no self-accountability, it brings problems. There's another type of lens, and that's a lens that helps you focus on your personal contribution to the life that you're living. It's not always an easy pill to swallow. But let me give you the best example I can, and I'll keep this personal. When I was over 300 pounds, I had a lot of excuses as why I couldn't be in shape, why I couldn't physically do better, why I was hurting, why I had to take medications, why I had to do this and had to do that, and why I had high blood pressure, and everything was just happening. And it was out of control. And that was one way to view it. I'm the victim, I'm the patient, and all of these things are just happening. The other decision that I eventually chose to make was let me put on a lens, or let me view the world and my reality through a lens that puts the focus on me. And by putting the focus on me, I'm not talking like in the simplistic sense of, oh, it's all about me. Because when you put the lens of focus on yourself, it actually doesn't feel good. It's the opposite of what people would think. Oh, look, it's all self-focused. It's all selfish. No, what I'm talking about is a lens of self-accountability. I'm 300 pounds. I, have this problem. I have these pains. How did I get to this point? And what are some contributing factors to how I arrived at this point? So when you put on the lens of self-accountability, it literally puts you in the spotlight. Ryan, what have you done to contribute to being 300 pounds overweight? Ryan, what have you done to contribute to your back hurting all the time? And what corrective actions are you taking to try to heal it? So depending on which lens you choose to wear in this life, one of them literally gives you all of the excuses you need to continue to live as the victim. And the other choice gives you all of the power back to change the way you're living and to be an active participant in your life. One way is so much better. I can tell you this much. The lens of self-accountability is the harder road. But I would tell you that if you're viewing any situation in your life, besides like a traumatic childhood trauma that you had no choice in, and I'll talk about those things in later videos, but whether it be your weight, whether it be your body, or whether your temple, let's call it what it is, your temple, whether it's your job or your financial situation, whether it's the location you're living, you have a participatory role in all of that. And that role can be way more powerful than you've probably ever realized. As I said in the previous video, it can be a launching pad to help you, or it can be a detrimental deficit, the way that you're dealing with your life. Are you a victim in all of the things that are just going on? Or do you want to step your life up, take your power back, and realize that you are involved in the very creation of what you're experiencing today? I've heard so many different people, oh, I've had nothing but broken relationships. Well, stop entering relationships when you're broken. Work on what it is that's broken about you. That way you won't accept anything but wholeness in your future relationships. Don't be upset that you may not have invested any time into building a career or building a skill set, whether it be through college or internships or whatever, through internet-based self-teaching. Don't be upset that somebody might be further along than you in the area of interest that you are when you haven't done the work. It's not just going to show up. You have to take a participatory role in how you're viewing yourself, how you're viewing your life. And that's how you gain your power back. You stop with all the excuses. Well, this is just happening to me. It's not just happening to you. You are an active participator in your life. How are you choosing to participate? Is it with your arms folded and you're mad and you're disgruntled and it's everybody else's fault? Or are you looking through the lens of self-accountability going, Ryan, how did I get here? Why did I get here? How did I communicate with myself in the process of arriving? And you start to take your power back. You start to gain control over your life again, because you're no longer just blaming things either on everybody else around you or some cosmic being in the sky. You're taking ownership for a very, very critical role that you play in the outcome of your life. And here's something else from the notes that I want to share with you. If the lens doesn't bring the focus to you, it's the wrong lens. If the way you're viewing the world and the situations that you're dealing with, if that lens doesn't automatically bring the spotlight over you, and to say, how are you contributing to these issues or these successes? You're not using the right lens. And really choosing the right lens creates, like I said before, either harm or an amazing growth model in our lives. And the growth model is this, at least from my experience. When the lens that you choose to wear brings self-awareness to how you're contributing to what's going on in your life. I've heard so many people say, oh, it must be nice. It must be nice to just do this, or it must be nice to just do that, or how lucky is that person, or how blessed is this person, or how cursed is this or that. It's not always as simple as something just happening. There is no such thing as somebody having a better chance at becoming and having the life that you want. If you want to be happy, you can choose to be happy. You can choose to set your life on a course to happiness. But if you're just going to sit back forever and go, I'm never going to be happy because of X, Y, and Z, well, why don't you change X, Y, and Z to A, B, and C? Change them. Take the time to do the work to make the changes. So self-awareness has to rise. Self-accountability has to rise. What role am I playing in the displeasure of my life and the choices I've made? What role do I play? So self-accountability is first thing. After self-awareness is the first thing. You have to become aware of your role. I'm playing a role that is creating the reality that I like or dislike about my life. After self-awareness rises, self-accountability comes in. This is the power of that lens. Self-accountability comes in. Victimization, once you become self-accountable and you're no longer blaming everything in your life and everyone around you, victimization turns into creationism. And all of a sudden you become an active participant in the creation of the reality of your life. That is a huge step into taking your power back. If you don't like where you're living, or how things are going, or the level of money that you're making, or the way that you think about yourself, choose to change it. You have to start there. Self-awareness, self-accountability. Once you become self-accountable, victimization stops and you become a creator, a co-creator in the reality of what's happening around you. Once you're a creator, you have literally gained your power back because you are holding the wheel of happiness in your life. If you're not happy, you can choose to steer and change direction. If you are happy then you can stay right on the course that you're on. So, being careful about the lens that you choose. Being self-aware of your involvement of what is bothering you so much in your life. Taking your power back by realizing that you're involved and you're not just some victim. You have creative power to change it. And then living in that state of ownership of your life. I'm responsible for how good or how bad I feel. I'm responsible for how healthy I am or how unhealthy I am. And we can come up with all kinds of excuses, as to why we can't do something or why we won't do something. And it becomes this negative feedback loop as to why we can't, instead of creating reasons why you can and changing the mindset. Choosing to change the lens that you're viewing the world. So anyway, trying to get a lot of different things in there. This is a much longer video than I have posted, but fortunately, switching to the YouTube platform will help allow for these longer sessions that can be shared on other pages. But listen, more to come. I want to go more into taking your power back and get more away from the lens aspect. I would call this will probably be number 4 lens video. But ultimately, it's about taking your power back. So, fam, listen, again, it's a Tuesday. Got to run to the boxing club with my son. Much love to everybody. I hope you have a great week, and hopefully I can continue to put out more content as the week goes on. All right, we'll see you later.